Oh no. Hey, what's up, y'all? What's going on? Just posting this where everybody can see it. You know how we do. Gotta make sure everybody knows what's going down. And let's see what's happening here. Said Revivalist Rod. Hi fam, what's going on, Revivalist? It's Rodney in New York. What's up, Rodney? That name sound familiar. What's up, Rodney? Choo Choo, I'm first. Wanda, good evening. Patricia, hello, Oklahoma. Shout out OKC. Choo Choo, let's go. Big Law is gang. April B is gang. Wanda Andrews, good to see you, April. Choo Choo gang. Alita, good evening. Candy Cruzic, gang. You know what it is, Candy. Ernest Jones, what it do? Alonzo, hey, what's happening, player? Mr. Williams, Mr. and Mrs. B, Maxwell Jr., Bahamas in the hizzy. Bahamas in the house. If you in a different country, man, shout out all my different country folk to be coming in here, showing a lot of love, showing a lot of support. Thank you. It comes from the bottom of our hearts to you. Even Daisy down there chewing on her foot. Really, thank you guys, you know what I mean, for joining in, because you don't have to. Pure and simply. Everything's a choice, right? It's a choice. I think when you choose to invest in something, you choose to educate, you choose to dedicate your time to something, it changes your perspective about the investment. Whether it makes you love it more or hate it more, it doesn't really matter. The emotions that are so close together, it kind of doesn't matter. 41 people, 13 likes. I'm going to implore y'all, please. Since y'all took y'all time out today, I want y'all to do 3 things today. I want you, A, make sure you are subscribed. B, I'm going to beg you. I'm going to beg that you hit the notification bell not once but twice. And then if it ain't showing, hit it again 3 times. That's the 3rd thing. And the 4th thing, man, go out there and
Daisy.
What you do?
Pass wind. You don't smell that? Oh my gosh, just come
I
my
have a
way.
fan going this way though.
Oh, okay. Ooh.
Daisy, you got gas? Little starlet? Yeah, you got the gas.
She got something.
Y'all see Daisy haircut? She got the Lion King haircut this time. She got a head full of hair. She's like, it's eggs.
It sure is.
It's the eggs. Man, and y'all, being... Don't be so into it that you can't see the investment for what it is. Me personally, I'm looking at this like through 3D glasses. You know what I'm saying? Like I see it. I know what the potential is. I know what the upswing is. I know what the RMOI should be. I know what the GOI is. I know what my personal time, I know I'll never get out of it what I put in it because of the extra stuff that I put into it for y'all. But that has nothing to do with the investment. Does that make sense? That's my personal commitment. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. I think when you look at something, you gotta look at. I'll give you an example. So like, I'll just throw this out there. April. You look at mining and cryptocurrencies and stuff like that. How many hours a week do you dedicate towards looking at that? Just being realistic. It could be 5, it could be 8, it could be 12, it could be 100. I don't know, whatever.
I probably look at it an hour or 2 every day.
So you're talking maybe 7 to 5 hours a week.
Yeah, and it includes all investments, cryptos, stocks, mining. If I find something that catches my attention, I kind of will research it more. Yeah.
Well, on an average day, I put 6 to 8 hours of reading in. Not to say I'm better, not to say I'm worse, not to say I don't do exactly what she does. So I have more free time to do what I do. You know what I'm saying? So please, and I hear people, come on, give us some good news. I'm going to bring you the news. But it ain't like I'm your dog and here it is on a platter. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm bringing it to you. Chill, baby. Enjoy the color, as I like to say. It ain't easy and it ain't fun all the time. Sometimes it ain't even cheery, the news. And sometimes this stuff is so blase blah that I'd be like, ooh, wait, man, I can't report this mess. And then sometimes I'd be like, dude, I got to report all this. You know what I'm saying? This is awesome. Not to say that today's show is a bad vibe or a bad anything. Actually, today's show is excellent. I think when you get down to the nitty gritty of it all, we're gonna really see it. You know me, I always try to give them about 5 minutes to pack in. Like we got 50 people. I posted the thumbnails late, so I kind of expected this. Y'all need to go out there right now. Everybody realize we cut this day short. This is April BB's birthday weekend. Her birthday was Wednesday. We celebrate a little bit today. We're going to celebrate a little bit tomorrow, a little bit on Sunday. But y'all wish April a happy birthday. She made 23 years old this week. She's barely legal to buy beer, but you know, I gave her mother a cow and a promise to take care of her for the rest of her life. And I filled up my end of the bargain, so you know what it is.
He's been watching too much 90 Day Fiance.
Happy birthday. Look at all
Thank you, everybody. Thank you for the birthday wishes.
Okay, we're going to let these birthday wishes roll in. We at 7:03. I'm going to give it till 7:05. And then we're going to get to it. Happy Born Day. Yeah, man. Everybody, you should celebrate the wins. You made a birthday. You made an anniversary. You're one more day on this rotating mud ball with the investment about to happen. Huh?
Rotating mud ball?
Yeah, because that's all the earth is, a rotating mud ball. Full of some water and a bunch of people.
Okay.
Happy birthday. Everybody just want to say thank you for that. Thank you.
Where's your mic?
Mine right here.
Oh, okay. Can they hear you okay?
Yeah, they can hear me. They're responding.
Oh, okay.
Let's get into this news while we have a few moments, right? Like, we got 2 minutes, so let's give them the 2 minutes. I'll give them 2 minutes. This will not take long. I'm going to let y'all enjoy your daily activities. I'm not going to sit here and talk about the short bus, even though I really like talking about the short bus, but today I'm going to refrain from it. Look, I got a like for that, not talking about short bus. No, today is about just pure education. We in, we out like a robber. Let's do this. Oh, thanks, Josie. Thank you, Margarita, man. Thank you, you guys. Terry, all of you guys, thank you. We got 1 minute, then we get into this news. I hope this news, I don't even know what people was talking about this. I didn't even really take a sneak peek. I just went straight. When I had a chance to go back to it, I jumped back in the news. I was really digging. I found a couple articles that were of definite interest. I think you guys will be the judge of that. You know what I mean? I mean, every day ain't Christmas, but I think you guys will be the judge of that. And so, with that, I'm going to get started. Last week, if you guys remember, we brought the bombshell to the whole Dinar community that we were talking about. That they are definitely talking about deleting 3 zeros. Whether you love the idea, and listen, don't get caught up in their jargon as far as redenomination goes. They've already redenominated their currency. They did it during the Saddam era. Remember that. When Saddam era came out, we destroyed those notes and we came out with new notes. So don't worry about redenomination. When they say it's too expensive to carry out, that's what they're talking about. Don't get worried. Think. Okay? Think. Before you react to a headline. I always try to. Sometimes it gets me too, though. Just being real. Sometimes it really affects me and I'll be like, dang, this is horrible. But this is a good thing, okay? Improving economic activities in the local markets is more than stable than deleting the confusing zeros. They're saying that in this headline, the improving economic activities in the local market is more stable than deleting confusing zeros. So they're used to seeing these zeros in the marketplace. They're used to seeing it on prices. They'll just have to retrain their eyes that when something costs $25,000, now it's $25. It's not a big deal. Think about this. How many of y'all are old enough to remember when your grandparents went to the ATM, they thought the machine ate the money? My grandma was just bent. When we went to the ATM machine, she didn't trust that ATM machine. She thought that it took the money, it had nothing to do with the bank, and somehow or another, and blame it on her age, blame it on her ethnicity, blame it on a lot of things. But that's what she firmly believed, even though all of us knew better until she got used to the processes, that she thought the ATM was basically a money machine, and it ate money. And whether the bank recognized it or not was here or there. The card they gave her was absolute crap. She didn't believe in it unless she had money in pocket, so to speak, which is probably a good way to go in a lot of ways. Improving the economic activities in the local market, the improving, and I have to context that with a time frame, the improving economic processes and developments that are going inside of Iraq are more important than even them deleting confusing zeros. Okay? We have to focus efforts on developing the economy to solve many things. Noting that there's been no actual movement to empower and strengthen the economy during the past decade. Now, look at the hint. We look at improving the situation inside of Iraq, and it hasn't been improved because we haven't deleted or processed these zeros or done anything to add to the purchasing power of the citizen, is a better way of putting that, right? With the increase in oil and other revenues, the rate of change was 23%, meaning that one day I made $100, next day I made $23 less, right? And there was no increases in the prices with that. And there was confusion in the sensitive and fragile market that the citizens have no control. Everybody's in fear of what they can't control, whether it be the government, whether it be medicine, whether it be whatever. You figure you're smarter, you're more educated, and that's on you, not on me, that's on you. And you make decisions based upon your own levels of education, and so therefore every decision might not be the absolute most sound one. Does that make sense? Mm-hmm. Even doctors make mistakes. Mm-hmm. Lawyers make mistakes. Politicians, presidents, everybody make mistakes. So to think you are above board to say, I make zero mistakes, therefore I should win at everything I do, would be an ignorant way of looking at this, right? They are in fear of improper financial operations, especially with regards to changing the zeros or deleting them. Part of them in the value of the dinar point to the need to improve economic activities because the street cannot tolerate confusion and market manipulation, which is absolutely true. But if you told the people that their currency was worth 10% more from today to tomorrow, they don't care how it got more value. They just need more value because that might buy an extra potato. It might buy an extra piece of meat. It might buy a piece of extra cleaning material. It might add to someone's business. They can invest 5% into advertising. It may be anything. But if it adds to their purchasing power, I just think a brief and simple explanation of why it's a benefit to the citizen way outweighs the confusion that it causes in the marketplace. Take the euro, for example, in Europe. Take the Turkish dinar in Turkey. Take any currency that changes some slight value for the good or the bad, and there's going to be confusion in the marketplace until the marketplace, because really the marketplace is real time. Forex is behind the time. The internet in some ways is behind the time, but real goods and services. I walk into a store. I want to buy some eggs. I want to buy a shirt. If I look at that and say, well, I have $25,000, that says $25. Why am I giving you $24,000 blah, blah, blah extra? That doesn't take but one brief explanation. And we know this for a fact because we've talked about this in prior podcasts, that they've been educating the citizens about them having more purchasing power coming up in the future, and these times are now. They've been talking about this for almost a year and a half. It's like, come on, little doggy, I hear you barking, but you got to bite. The central bank today has more an asset than it ever did since the beginning of the Central Bank of Iraq. That predates Saddam Hussein. That predates all that crap. They have more an asset today and less debt today than they ever have been since the establishment of the central banking system inside of Iraq. The total assets of the central bank until the end of the first quarter of the current year, 2022, amounted to about 158 trillion Iraqi dinars, an increase of 17% compared to the same period a year ago. And that rise came as a result of an increase in the bank deposits with the bank, which rose by 33% to reach 34 trillion dinars. So they devalued the currency 23%. That yielded them a 33% return on their investment to reach 34 trillion, not billion, trillion dinars, as well as increase the issued currency. as well as the increase in issue currency. So take whatever numbers that we know and add 8% to reach 80 trillion Iraqi dinars. So if you want to know what the issue currency is, now it's reached the number of 80 trillion Iraqi dinars. We know in foreign reserves that they have in the billions in reserves. So if you have in the billions in reserves, if they simply started using their own currency, use the reserves as a backup, they have hundreds of trillions in reserve currency to cover the trillions that are in currency. So deleting the zeros will just bring them one and one together. That's why there's all this talk about deleting the zeros. Do you need me to say that one more time? Let me check this chat, man. I don't think, man, I yell because, man, I don't think y'all is listening.
They there, but no questions yet.
Did you feel me on that? I don't think y'all really felt me on that. I'm going to say this one more time. Okay, let me get y'all to this. They have really felt me on that. 7 or 8. No, excuse me. More than that. They have excess of so many billions. I think it's reaching like 80 billion, right? If you add 3 zeros to like 80 billion, that takes you into the thousands of trillion. Does that make sense?
Trillion.
So, yeah, if you take their currency that has 3 zeros added to it, and you added 3 zeros to a billion, that takes you to a trillion. Mm-hmm. So if you have 80 billion, that takes you to way exceeding over their trillion count. So in reserves only, if they only use their own currency, by deleting the zeros, they would be forced to create their currency to be on par, 1-to-1, with the currency that they already have in reserve. That's not unthinkable. I'm not saying that's the number. I'm saying that it's not unthinkable. So when someone sits here and tells you, well, the dinar, it's blah, blah, blah. This ain't happening, that ain't happening. Yeah, dude, I've been talking about this for the last 3 weeks, but yeah, now you're starting to catch up to it. Well, there seem to be talking about a lot about deleting zeros. Yes, because the foreign reserves are in the tens of billions of dollars. If you delete the zeros off of 8 trillion, 80 trillion, you've got that covered in just foreign reserve. Forget the money that's not lost. Forget the liquid gas they're going to sell. Forget the Chinese agreement. Forget all the rest of it. Just think. What we're aspirationally talking about is actually very factually true. If you look at, let's say you got all this money, look, the balance of government institutions with the central bank increased by 72%, 8.1 trillion. You can already add 3 zillions to that. Okay, now that's in dinar. Hold on, that's in dinar. In contrast, the amount of investment securities increased. Financial reserves by 32%, amounted more than 50 trillion. The loans to small and medium enterprises granted to the banks increased by 155%. Now, I know a lot of y'all are bored by this conversation, but they increased all these spending avenues. All these things have increased. And you talk about there's no private sector, and you tell me that they're not doing this, they're kicking the can. They're not! But you gotta look for the information to understand where to find it.
Sammy D said, it seems like in the past 2 weeks we've been hearing about the deleting of the zeros.
Are you picking up what I'm
I
putting
think
down?
that's a very good sign.
Well, dude, I've been talking about this for 3 weeks. So when I'm telling you something, watch it. Pay attention. I got a crystal ball sitting over here and I'm looking into it.
Have any zeros been deleted so far?
Heck no. Ain't no. Listen, someone put on there the other day, well, they've already deleted. That's old news. They've deleted the 3 zeros. Well, super smart individual, if they already deleted the 3 zeros, why are they constantly talking about deleting the 3 zeros? How could you do something, and I love that in-country, out-of-country jargon. Well, if they did it in-country and nobody knew about it, why are they still be talking about it in the newspaper that goes internationally? Mm. Oh, that's right, because they're trying to hide the secret place where they're doing all the evil stuff and the cabal and white hats and purple people and all this and that. And, nah, man, the world just don't work like that. I'm sorry. It just don't. The amount of cash and gold reserves in the central bank decreased by 3.5% to reach 237 trillion Iraqi dinars. In addition to that, deposit with banks increased by 4.6% to reach 27 trillion dinar. the value of the central bank asset is the highest since its establishment, which gives reassurance to the security and the stability of the currency during the coming period. They didn't say current period, the coming period, not current, coming period, which is expected to witness further increases inside and outside the central banks, as well as assets and currency as it results to sales revenue, which plays an important role in strengthening the bank's special reserves. International verbal support for the white papers. I don't know if even this has been reported on, but Alawi had a meeting with the International Monetary Fund and the World Bank. That meeting was simply, it wasn't about them revaluing the currency. Not saying that wasn't a topic that they talked about. Please don't misunderstand what I'm saying right now, because someone's going to come back and say, well, Mr. B said. Well, you didn't listen. I'm saying that most of the topic of this conversation about the IMF and the World Bank was repurposing the loan that they have with them. So they need to pay them about $4 billion a month, and in 6 years they will be paid back about $24 billion, which in the grand scheme of things isn't a lot of money because it's a fixated thing, it's a low interest rate, they've already accounted for it, it's no big deal, okay? But that's what that meeting was mostly about. Now, do I not think in some kind of alternate universe that maybe they discussed that, hey, the currency could be valued at a greater value later and this could all play in them paying it back and blah, blah, blah? Absolutely. But I would tell you this. I don't care what you're going to do. Just tell me what you can do. If you can pay me $4 billion, I'll take your $4 billion. Don't tell me what you're going to do next week. Don't tell me about a month. Don't tell me about a year. Tell me what you can do today to repay your debt. And that's what the IMF and the World Bank was doing, because that's how real businesses work. I don't care what my outstandings are. I don't care how you're going to pay them. Okay? That's the important part. The white paper is the comprehensive way that they're going to take the economic reforms from 0 to 100. We've already seen that they put in a lot of money, not just the spending of inflationary measures, but in the private and medium sector, as well as investing in dinars. We know they're talking about deleting the 3 zeros. We know that there's a lot going on. We know, though, that the white paper is the holy grail of the holy grail. So, Alawi said, there are closed meetings in Baghdad, which will be after. Remember, during Eid and Ramadan, Muslims typically don't talk about gossip, they don't talk about finance, they don't talk about any of these things that you and I consider polite conversation on a daily basis. During their holy holidays, they obscure themselves from talking about certain things because it's based upon religious belief. And you have to respect that. That's why, in some ways, today's show to me was like, I might do it, I might not. But I felt like I needed to get that out because a lot of people don't get that about being Muslim. They don't gossip. They don't talk about money. They don't talk about how much they earn or what they're losing or what this. It's a time for reflection and to have an attitude of gratitude. And that's what they're trying to accomplish during that time frame.
Ramadan ends this weekend.
It ends this weekend, and guess what? It starts. Mm-hmm. And they're not going to start talking about formation of the government until after it. Do I think that some conversations probably have already been had between the coordinating framework and yes, Kazemi already came out there and said there's no agreement between the two. And he says that he's going to stand up to the coordinating framework to hell or high water, but he's not caving in to what they want to do to ruin the country. It needs to be representative of a majority government. And that's all, as far as you, I, and everybody else is concerned. If you got a majority government, dude, that represents the people of Iraq, then dude, you are where you need to be. Hold on, strap in, put your big boy pants on, your big girl pants on, and now get ready to really see how the ride goes.
TH said they've been setting up redemption centers damn near 10 to 15 years now. Sammy D says, when do you think the white papers will be active?
Let's take the first one, redemption centers. The only place that I actually know that there's redemption...
Daisy!
Your girl.
Oh, what scared her now?
My cord. Hey, y'all give it to Daisy. Daisy done scared herself. She got herself wrapped up in a cord. It freaked her out. Okay, y'all. So here, look, we're gonna put this right here like this. Okay.
Daisy can't get right.
Y'all, just forgive me. Daisy had a little episode right there. Okay, so let's forgive her.
Mookie, You need to chill.
They're only redemption centers that I've ever heard of anywhere in the world or in Europe. And I don't even know if they still have redemption centers in Europe after the pandemic. I've never seen a redemption center. I don't know what one looks like. I've called several banks asking about them with no avail.
It's okay.
But I can't say that. The other thing that someone just said was, when do you think the white papers will be inactive? The white papers have already been inactive according to how
inactive or active?
I mean, they're already active according to certain spendings. The 500 schools, the 5,000 hospitals. They've already done some of those things as according to the white paper, so they're already doing it. You're asking, what your real question, I guess, Sammy D, would be is, when are they going to actually put forth the reforms? When are they actually going to do that? And that, because of everything they've done, I can't answer the same way. Because they've already done a lot of the big heavy lifting to do some of the smaller things, not smaller, some of the things that we would consider less important. But as far as things that are concerned that have to do with the currency, it doesn't seem like those things are going forward. But every other day and every other week now, all we're seeing is stuff about the deletion of the 3 zeros. So my question for everybody would be, if they're not already trying to do the reforms, what?
Oh, she just got wrapped up in the cord again. That's why I'm holding it up. It was around her tail. Go ahead. You're good. Just keep talking.
What I'm saying is that I think that they kind of are. I just don't think they're saying it to us in the language that I've conveyed to you guys that you understand. I already looked at them as saying, yeah, they're already kind of doing the white papers. They're not kind of doing it. They're doing the white papers. They're just doing it in a very secretive, under level type of thing because China's already done their pay for gas. They've already got a lot of implementation going as far as money being seized from overseas. There's a lot going on that has to do with the white papers, but we're not studying the white paper point by point for me to come back and give a detail. I could do that. I mean, it wouldn't be difficult to do. I just think it would be hard for people to keep up that are casual investors, not the astute investors that are in it every day. If that makes sense.
Louise says they will RV when Israel and Iran were in war.
Well,
you will see.
I don't. There's no such thing as an RV because that's redenomination. I don't believe in redenomination. We've already redenominated. That's why we got rid of the Saddam notes, the notes that we have now. So RV is dead for me. There's no RV. They're going to reinstate their currency to a value that they held in a previous era. I believe in that. And the second part of that is that they're already in talks. Saudi Arabia and Iran are already in talks with them normalizing certain things, and they probably won't agree on Israel, but Israel and Saudi Arabia are already in cahoots in a lot of ways. That's how Iran was getting attacked. It was Israel. It wasn't anybody else. It was Israel. Israel doesn't like Iran. So now they're trying to come out with normalizing talks. And I'm telling you, if Saudi's the partner that I think they are, they're going to include Israel inside of those talks as far as normalization goes, because those guys are buddies. And that's just the way it works. In Iran, just because what happened to the consulate in Baghdad in 2016 doesn't necessarily mean that this has to be a totally negative thing, but just don't look at it as like, oh, well, they're not, when Israel, dude, they're already doing that. Mm-hmm. So what you're talking about is in the past, it's not in the future. Well, it's in the future because they're doing it, but they haven't completed everything from the past. Yeah, Iraq has a strategic agreement with the United States, especially with the economic aspect. And they want to do it now, but they can't do it now because they don't have a seated government. The United States has already kind of sat back and settled that with them, and they've said, look, guys, you guys got to really seat your government, you got to do all these things. And I think Iraq's kind of looking at it like your little brother, your little cousin. If I tell my little cousin, man, you really need to do better, get better grades, you need to do this, I think they look at you and be like, okay, yeah, whatever, we'll do it when we want to.
How soon will the government be in place?
I mean, it's over in 10 days. I figure that the blocking will be done a few weeks later. So by the end of May, hopefully, if everything's, middle of May, end of May, that'd be a good time.
Okay.
And duly noted, if we're talking about a federated country, the federal government has not yet received any cash or an account from the Kurdistan region. Y'all, they've got to wrangle in all the money. The Barzanis and the Talibanis can't use the Kurdistan region as their own personal piggy bank. That's all part of this. They have to wrangle in all the money. California can't spend the way it wants, and New York can't spend the way it wants, and then take money from the federal. See what I'm saying? They have to do certain things to be qualified for those things. And right now, the tail is wagging the dog's not wagging the tail. Herbal's going to have to learn to get in line because you receive federal funding. And if you don't want that funding cut off, you're going to have to do things that maybe you don't want to do. Which, turning over the oil file is a major one. How is it you guys are making money hand over fist at $130 plus a barrel, and there's only $300 million in your coffers? In Kirkuk. That's crazy. You stole that money. You stole it. And they know it. Now, why? A better question for all of us as an audience would be, in my own opinion, is why isn't somebody like Sauter saying, well, we're not going to do business with Barzani because we know they're a bunch of thieves? Why is it cool to do business with this thief but not this thief? And that's a question only they can answer. It's the same thing I talk about articles. Whoever writes in Arabic for articles, I swear to God, gets paid by the word. What they could say in 2 words, they want to say in 15 words because they feel like that's the way they want to poetically get their point across. But it's really not needed. Just write it and be done with it. But that's not the way it works all the times. But my own question would be, why the heck don't these guys write shorter and understand that there are thieves all over the country? By lopping off the head of one snake doesn't mean you don't have 3 more to deal with. I'll end it with this because I thought this was the cutest story of the whole news cycle of the week. There's an Iraqi politician out there, and I'll name him in a minute, but he says, and I quote, "I will give my cow to whomever can form a government without Nouri al-Maliki." The Iraqi politician, the head of the Anbar Salvation Council, his name is Ahmed al-Hayes, said, "Hey, I'll make a strange request. That with all this escalating and crisis in Iraq, the failure of the political forces to agree on choosing a new president for the country and for forming a government, what I will do is I have 1 cow." Now, this is this man's claim to fame. He's got 1 cow. This cow is pregnant, okay? So this is all this man has. He says he will give his cow to any politician that can form a government without Nouri al-Maliki being involved in it. For those that have so little that gave so much. I know it sounds silly in the way I said it, but dude, if that's all you had in the world was 1 cow that gave milk, you're willing to give up the one thing that feeds you and your family to just form a government without Nouri al-Maliki? And I know a lot of us sit there and say, well, why don't they arrest him? Why don't they arrest him? Because he has political immunity.
Is the budget done or not for 2022?
No, you don't have a government, you ain't got a budget. So stop that dumb thinking. So I'll tell you like this, not dumb. If I was a new government and the old government, which you considered failures, wrote a budget, would I accept it? And your failures, you lost. Would I accept that as being my budget? Come on, guys. 66 people, 130. We need some likes. Come on, y'all. Helps the channel, helps the algorithm. Give us some likes.
Do you think there's a chance that there could be a re-election?
Yeah, I do. A real chance. Like if they keep preventatively kicking the can and not solving anything, or at least making the last 3 presidents, which is my last point, you're going to see the 3 presidencies that there are now. Why they're going through this political soccer, I have no idea, but I really have a feeling in my heart of hearts that you're going to see the 3 presidents you see right now. That's what I really believe. I could be wrong, and I've been wrong in the past, and I'll admit to it, but I really feel like that's where all this is going. And they're talking about having them go till July or early October. Why would you have early elections when you just had early elections for a parliamentary blockage that you can't solve? Because you already need, in 6 months, it ain't going to clear it up. Unless laws are written that you can make things change. It will happen after the holiday in the metaverse. I haven't been to the metaverse in a while. Hey, Louisiana. Everything's good, Shanta. Daisy, you okay? I know, man. She freaked out.
Sammy D says, what do you think Sauter is going to do on the 10th?
Run roughshod over the other group because he knew that they couldn't form the government with 1/3 of them. See, it's all about numbers. If you had 2/3 almost, you're only shy 19 people. He's probably been out actively getting his politicians to go out there and find him 20 more to 25 to 30 more people to join his alliance and show them the inability of the other group to form anything, let alone a council to vote on them holding a jar for them to pee in. Dude, they're feckless. They're worse than the Democrats at this point. Sorry about that. I don't mean to make this American politics.
Oh my. Oh my.
It'll be over in 10 days after the last day of April.
The last day of April's tomorrow.
Tomorrow. So 10 days from Sunday.
Okay.
It's over. Then we can talk about how we're going to clear up the political blockage. I think, in my own humble opinion, you'll see the same 3 presidencies that you've seen before, and nothing will change. I'll stick to that. Now, this guy with the cow, I'm interested in this guy. I don't care about political block. The cow is what I actually want to get the cow myself to give to Daisy, but I need for one of these politicians or us to form a government so we can get this cow. And it's pregnant, and I want it.
Nino says 83 billion on in dollars as a reserve.
Add 3 zeros to 83 billion. That means you have 80 trillion in reserves in dinar. So if you just wanted to back off 3 zeros, make it 1-to-1. You already got 88 billion in circulation. That gives you a 1-to-1. Just saying, kids. I'm just saying. The math makes sense. You know, I mean, you don't have to be smart, cute with the math. I ain't do a lot of yelling. I ain't do a lot of screaming. I ain't going to talk a bunch of ish tonight because there's no more ish to talk. All of it's in writing and all of it's before you. You guys need to have a really awesome weekend. You need to strap in, strap up. And I will say this again. I've said this several times. If you guys aren't tax prepared for what you call the blessing is about to be bestowed upon you, you need to get yourself tax prepared before that blessing turns into an IRS nightmare or an IRS curse. Where you spend more before you ever get it. Shout out Financial Fridays. I apologize, y'all. Got some allergy stuff going on. Messing with me. We're working our way through it. We're going to get better. We'll do that. Shout out Cremata. Cremata on TikTok. Shout out my new clothing sponsor coming here soon. Shout out Cremata TikTok. Shout out Cremata NFTs. If y'all ain't looked at the NFTs on OpenSea, go check out Dinar World for all your critically acclaimed gurus that people love so much. You can own them. You can bid on them. And if you don't know what an NFT is, it's a non-fundable token. It's a way you can buy something and sell something to make a profit that you can realize today. It just takes someone buying the first one. So, with that, I love you guys. I hope you guys are having a fabulous week. Any questions before I sign off here? Yeah, pregnant cow. Love them.
What's that mean?
Well, you know, a cow, when they give birth to other cows, they're pregnant.
Okay.
So this guy's pregnant. He's boasting, and he's literally boasting in this article. He's like, and my cow is pregnant. Like, my cow got some. My cow's on it. Preggers, ready to go. And I'm going to give my cow and the calf because I want someone to form a government without Maliki. So don't tell me that everybody loves Maliki. Not everybody loves him. He's an idiot. The purple people, yeah. The purple people are purple people eaters.
DD said, where do we go for tax stuff?
I'm gonna let you answer that as a.
I don't know.
Listen,
right now.
When you get your money, consult a tax professional.
I say look in.
I have my own plan, so I'm not looking for.
Look locally to a tax accountant in your area. I think that's the smartest thing.
I've given tips from anything from LLCs to citizen buy investment. I'm done giving tax help. I'm done with that. If you're not in the group, I'm not giving you tax help. I'm sorry. I just don't have time.
But I would say look, Google in your area.
Yeah, Google in your area.
Tax accountant.
Do a little research. Read. Ken Keel I have an NFT for sale. Would you be interested? Only if you buy my NFT. If you buy my NFT, Ken Keel, I'll buy your NFT. How about that? I'll do that.
Let me see if I can find your Kamada. Somewhere you found me. There you are. Share.
I really appreciate y'all with the birthday wishes. I really appreciate y'all tuning in. I really thank everybody for their contributions to the evening. I think this is a wonderful time to be in. We've never been in a spot where we got very low debt. We've never been in a spot where we've got zero sanctions on our currency. We've never been in a spot where they're talking about deleting the 3 zeros every other week with such conviction that it has nothing to do with adding value, that you got to be almost convinced that, dang, it's got to add. I know it adds value. I know for every zero you delete, it adds 10 cents or 10% to their currency. So they can't tell me that, well, it adds little to no value. Bull crap. It adds all the value. With an increase in value comes an increase in the security of the citizens, which is all what, honestly, if you're a dinar investor, it's what everybody wants. Without any fanfare or balloons or crazy stuff, I'm going to bid you farewell and good night. I will see you in a week.
1 week?
1 week, hopefully. Unless some drastic news changes, and you guys know the deal. If something crazy happens, I'm going to report early. But if nothing reports early, nothing goes haywire, I'm going to definitely check in with you guys in a week. And we're going to do this visit again. And we're going to do it again and again and again. And guess what? If you're really invested in this, I will see you each week because we all want to see this in the finish line.
Thank you, everyone, for the birthday wishes.
And thank you, everybody, guys, for tuning in. Have a fabulous evening. If you're not feeling good, sick, all my good folks, man, feel better. Love everybody. Have a fabulous night. I'll talk to you later. Goodbye.